several questions. Potential discussion points. Innovative personal branding techniques. Honestly, I think this is very simple, but difficult to do. The first technique is to be confident and not care about what others say. Just assume some people are talking about you because they love the privilege of talking to you. The technique is simple. Know what you do, know who you are and what you do want to be like. And if you already know what you want to be, often post stories or whatever about what you want to achieve, whether it's talk, pictures, storytelling, and or something else. Never get bored and tired until the personal branding you create becomes top of mind of the people who will see your story. Nothing is instant and everything needs a process. 2. Overcoming research constraints. Okay, how do you start without any cost in a simple way? It's a very simple. Maybe in this world everything needs money, but there are things more important than money, namely experience, knowledge, and networking. So focus first on getting between those three, then start building your personal branding because it's useless for you to be known if your content, your brand is empty. So it must be balanced and have capacity. Third, building a compelling online presence. Okay, have an interesting discussion for yourself as much as possible with other influencers from the personal branding meter. Make yourself feel important to be at the top of their mind and not be arrogant. You have to be able to mingle with your followers so that you are more interactive and get input and even bigger opportunities. 4. Navigating challenge in branding. This is quite a tough challenge for me because when you start the personal branding you want, you have to be consistent with it, and it has an impact in the real world on you. A simple example is if you are famous on social media or your good and smart characteristic, then in the real world it has to be like that. Otherwise, they will say you are an image maker or even other bad things. And the last but not least, success stories and key takeaways. To be honest, I'm still in the process of developing, but in the past, I always underestimated, considered stupid, and had no future. But I use it as motivation if I caught silent their words. I start changing from small things like hanging out less, studying diligently, reading books, and so on. Maybe it felt hard, but no pain no gain until I'm at the point now where it can be said that at the age of 20, I can gain a lot of experience at it. One established in entrepreneurship in LSBR, being part of the G20 as a technical commit, sudden exchange to Russia received an invitation from the Dutch ambassador to Indonesia to discuss business opportunity for young people on an ASEAN scale, intern at Develop Commission Act, and handle web business. My advice is never be afraid. Believe in yourself, and if you can become more, because when you doubt yourself, other people are actually afraid of your potential. So keep looking forward, take all the opportunities that exist and create them. Okay, maybe we'll next to several questions to you guys. Do you think personal branding is important? So if I want to answer, please raise your hand. Maybe Rosemary will answer. Why personal branding is important?
Oh, you see in the participants, there are the several person, they raise their hand. So you can choose the persons that, uh, yeah, you want to answer your questions.
Okay, maybe first, so Amal Isan.
So yeah, I think personal branding is important because it can add to our people judgment to us like good like that, or we can tell us that we are, such as if we build a personal branding like intelligent person, and people will think that we are intelligent even if we are not really intelligent. But if we can build a personal branding like that, yeah, that's the benefit that I thought, that I think. Thank you.
Okay, I agree with Mr. Amal. And next, Mr. Demus.
Check. Am I audible? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, you are
Yes, I
audible.
hear you.
All right. Yeah, thank you. All right. So for me personally, personal branding is crucial or important for several compelling reasons. For me, first is that it helps you with the differentiation. I mean, like in a crowded marketplace or job market, personal branding absolutely helps you stand out from the competition. It highlights what makes you unique, whether it's your skills, expertise, or personality. And for me personally as well, that personal branding brings the credibility towards the person who has it. So a strong personal brand can establish you as an authority or expert in your field. It builds trust and credibility, as I mentioned, with your audience or your clients or potential employers. So it really helps you with that, as well as the career advancements. Those people who have no personal branding, with comparing to those who have personal branding, are very differentiated based on whether or not they can open doors to career opportunities. Like it can lead to job offers, promotions, speaking engagements, and others, so on and so far. Because whenever you are having good personal branding, I think it's the way when people are able to reach you out based on that credibility I mentioned as the second point. And it really helps in the career advancement. So for me personally, that it's absolutely crucial for those people who are basically in this very competitive global market to even get a job. So yeah, that's absolutely crucial. Yeah, back to the moderator.
Well, it's a good answer. Thank you. And does anyone else want to have an opinion on this question? Okay, Rosemary, can you answer?
Okay, could you guys hear my voice now? Hello?
Yes,
Okay,
Miss.
I hear you guys.
Okay. First of all, I want to apologize because I was eating before, so I couldn't answer it all before, and I'm ready to answer the question. For me, personal branding is really important because it could show to people how confident we are, and especially it could show the people like, or the potential of ourselves. I know many people been telling like, when you show your like personal brand, like example, like we have a friend who show off what they doing. Example, they do a lot of activity, like they participate in some event and stuff, and some people say like, oh, they just want to show off and so on like that. But I think it's not just show off, but it's actually helping to show the people like what's the potential in yourself, and build a personal branding like in this age, like in 20 and so on. It's helping us, especially it's gonna helping us for our professional work someday. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. Maybe anyone else want to have an opinion on this? Okay, Mr. Saifullah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. So I'm sorry for the insufficient signal in my place. As far as I know about personal branding is a part of the communication itself. So the personal branding, it's a vital communication because personal branding show us how the people judge us, how the people assess us as a human being. So personal branding is a vital communication. Personal branding, we can show our personal branding from from what we behave to the people, from what we speak to the people, from what we our work to the people. So the personal branding, it judged by the people want to see us as what, as a human being, or such as a diligent person, or such as a smart person, and etc. So the personal branding, we have our personal branding in ourselves, because personal branding can attract the people to see, to how to see us as a human being, as what they are thinking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saifullah. Maybe anyone in here want to speak about this question? Okay, maybe we can next to next question. Does anyone here feel the power of personal branding?
To make clear your questions.
Okay. Does anyone in here feel the power of personal branding? Like personal branding makes me feel blah 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 and blah. So if I want to answer, please raise your hand. Maybe like personal branding make me go to next level or anything else. So anyone else want to have an opinion on this question? Okay, Mr. Amal.
Okay. The benefit of personal branding, is that your question?
Yep.
Okay. I don't really know the answer, but because there's no one raise hand, so I tried my best. So the benefit of good personal branding is like career advancement. So if we have a strong personal branding, such as we good at leadership, and everyone know, and our boss also know that we are good at leadership, we are also good at communication skills. So that's make us a career advancement. So because our boss know that we are capable to manage people, so maybe if there is promotion, a job promotion, the boss will choose us. And the second is networking. A strong personal brand can helps us to expand our network with people with the same like mandate maybe. So if we are like personal branding in influencer, and that's make our network to other influencer is more gampang, like if we strong at personal branding in influencer, we have many followers, and we easily it, we easily have a partner in another influencer at the top, maybe like that. And the last is yeah, how I put it. So it's also self-expression, like personal branding allows us to express our personality, values, and passion, and also provides uh, something platform from us to share our story and connect the with others. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amal, and I am very agree with you because networking and personal branding is very important in current era. And there are other who want to have an opinion with this question. Anyone here? Okay, Mr. Demus.
I believe the question was what personal branding makes me of something, right? Like what
Okay.
really personal branding affects in my personal life. Is that what you're asking? Because that's what I heard.
Yep, exactly.
Uh-huh. Then I will bring my personal story then about using personal branding in terms of getting through several phases of my life. So first, let me clarify things about personal branding. And I'm afraid that we didn't catch a single point because we didn't even ask the definition from each other about the personal branding from their perspective. For me personally, personal branding means that we create an identity that consistently used by by us to to perceive ourselves into the people. That means that what people see from us is what personal branding is. That's what we want people to see from us. Then I created the definition of myself. Demus itself is someone who basically is eager to learn and constantly to compete with each other, but based on a positive way. Through that years, I use a lot of networking strategies to basically create more relationship with others, joining several communities and etc. just to create better personal branding, which I want people to know that I'm very eager to learn. I'm great, and not great, but great. I'm perseverant towards the thing that I really want to achieve in my goals. That lead of experiences leading to the ability of me basically to be recognized by those people who basically are looking for the student at the times to get into, to represent Indonesia in one of the events at the times. I believe that because I created the person, I cultivate the personal branding. I used to think that I need to create. I used to think that I need to create that personal branding which people can see from me. And that brought me exactly to the program that I really want to join. People knew me from Demus from this, Demus from this, Demus is well known for this. And that's really helped me a lot. I used to be, I was the delegate of Indonesia, represent Indonesia to the international program at that times because I cultivate the personal branding I told you. I think a lot of people will answer the same way when people question them what personal branding really brought to you. I believe it brought me a lot to the experience that I've never even able, to see, when I didn't know what personal branding really was until I knew that, joining several activities that creates the identity of mine is basically the personal branding. but still linear to my goals itself. Well, doing something that is not linear to our goals basically is just hypocrisy. So, and also it really helps me a lot with getting a job. So thanks to my personal branding, that people know that I'm recognized with that ability, and that online, recognition from my LinkedIn and all the things that I created my personal branding through those platforms helps me a lot to get a job right now. And now I'm basically handling. I'm working as a supply chain specialist, but it's a really such a fast track career, and it's not meant for everybody. It's just meant for those people who are basically falling into the category when they're really eager to learn and able to preserve under the pressure. And that's helped me a lot with because of personal branding that I mentioned to you. So what personal branding makes me, it makes me get through international program as well as getting a job as the someone who basically having the fast track career. So 2 points that personal branding already brought me to. Yeah, I think that's all. Back to Mr. Shahul.
Okay, wow, it's cool. Personal branding is important for you. And is there anyone
It
else who
is.
want to answer? Mrs. Michelle, Mrs. Rosemary, Mrs. Ekalita, are you want to answer? Or anyone else in here? Okay, if you know us again, I will go to the next question. How about you guys navigating challenge in branding? Like maybe other people say personal branding is image maker or penciptaan and anything else, other bad things. How about you guys? About navigating challenge in branding. Does anyone else want to have an opinion on this? Okay, Miss Ekalita.
Yeah, I didn't mean to be negative, but I think yeah, personal branding ya like kecintraan sih emang. Yeah, that's the truth, and it's like someone advertise themselves, right? But in the end, the people will judge not with your personal branding, but from who you are in the real characters. Yeah, can you be trustable or not? Yeah. In the end, the people will be have the real conclusion. Yeah, mostly about the working. I think it's a heavy job. Yeah, it's beside the performance, you also have to connect to others. And sometimes, if you have a personal branding but didn't support with your result, mostly the working and disappointed the people. And I think your personal branding will be like boomerang, yeah, for you. So people will see you as oh yeah, the conclusion is will be like negative because they didn't satisfy uh apa for your working achievement. It can be like that if the personal branding is like the pencitraan because you fail to satisfy others' expectations. So I think personal if we want to having a method, yeah, maybe people mostly nowadays, yeah, they are apa prefer to trust and like a real apa ya real performance that I say mostly if there is many problems, right? And then there apa there's so much people that advertise themselves, but they are fail to fulfill the apa the expectation for others. Yeah, I think it's not effective, yeah, because in we want the real change that can affect all of us, yeah, something like that.
Thank you, Miss Ekalita. Can I ask to you, why do you think dating personal branding is imagery or pencitraan?
Yeah,
I'm
of course.
curious about your answer.
Because I was disappointed, yeah, when I
Mhm.
mostly when I thought that several people can be trustable, and then we as a society have a different judgment. But sometimes that someone that we didn't expect it, but yeah, they can like fix the condition. I think we more appreciate the person that can save the planet, something like that. So we prefer to choose Superman than the maybe
Mm.
I mean we choose the real hero, yeah, than the personal branding. Then when you follow them and then there is mess up, yeah, something like that. Because I know that I think about the personal branding, automatically people will advertise themselves, right? But when we jump into the problem matters, yeah, people want to the real solution, yeah, that effective for everybody. And that's I think most day is the society is very high expectation, yeah, for it. Mostly if they are like dealing with the problem with another problem, they're more critical about this, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Ekalita. It's very insightful and a good answer. And next, Mr. Saifullah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Um, Personally, I don't, I didn't think that personal branding in a negative way. We have to know about the goals of the personal branding itself. So, in my opinion, the goals of the personal branding is to attract people, how the people judge assess you as a human being. Uh, it doesn't matter in a positive way or in a negative way. So if the people give the attention to you, that's your personal branding achieve the goals. That's right. For the example, the politicians, before 2024, many politicians show us their best personal branding to attract the people to vote them in election. So maybe we know that the politicians show us as a good person, as maybe as a and the politician want to how to mewakili
Represent.
The voice.
Hello, the voice. Hello, Saifullah, Mr. Saifullah, can you hear me? Your connection is lost.
Yes. Hello, hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
Mr. Ija.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry for the bad signal. Okay.
Okay.
So for example, the politician show us their best personal branding to attract the people, to vote them in the election. That's the example in the world, and the goals that their personal branding is achieve the goals is if the politician can be elected in the parliament. So it doesn't matter the personal branding, your personal branding in a positive or in a negative approach to attract people, but I believe if the people attract you or the people give attention to you because your personal branding, so your personal branding is success to achieve the goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saifullah. And I want to ask to you, do you think the personal branding carried out by politicians in Indonesia is working well? Like personal branding to politicians in Indonesia is working or not? Like pencitraan
It depends
give money to
the
people.
imagery. Yeah.
Yep.
It depends on the people. Yes, because if the politician can be elected to the parliamentary, they are success. They are success in the personal branding. If they are not elected, they're not. They fail.
Okay. Thank you so much, Saifullah. And next, Mrs. Rosemary.
Hello?
Hello, I
Um,
hear you.
So I just want to say, Mrs. Ekalita is not completely wrong because, in my opinion, it's all about perspective. And I mean, in some people's perspective, personal branding could be just a person who builds an image to the public. But for some people, personal branding is also could be like the brand of themselves. So it's all about perspective. And in my opinion, also, personal brand is actually the culmination of the experience, skills, and values that he shows to people, which could help the people and inspire people to be like you. And about the image, and the image itself, basically, it's all about, the something that you show to people, but you're not actually doing it. So you just show, like, example, you doing this and this, and you promise the people you're gonna do this and this, but it's not that. You not actually do that. And besides, the personal brand is actually the things that you actually do. And it's not only, the image to the people, but you do that because of yourself and you don't care about what people gonna like say about yourself. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ross, can I ask you, why do you think they think this is imagery or pencitraan to personal branding?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question. Can you repeat again?
Okay. What's your opinion about they think this is imagery or pencitraan to personal branding?
Okay, that is like a little bit sensitive, but beside of my experience, I think people gonna say that you like pencitraan or image when you not actually do the things that you show off to people. That's why I think like that. But and also besides that, it's all about perspective of that person. Example, I mean like we have like jealous side, right? If you see the person doing like personal branding and you see in a positive way, you wouldn't say that person doing it only for image. You just like, oh, this person doing a personal branding, and I get inspired from that. But if you see that from the negative way, you're gonna think the other one. So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, thank you. It's a very good answer. And next, Mr. Rizal.
Hello guys, are you hearing my voice?
Yes, I heard you.
Okay. Uh okay. Guys, I'm new. I'm new in this link Zoom. So pardon. I'm sorry for my English if you all guys are uh uncomfortable with my English. This is my first time joining this Zoom meeting. I got this link Zoom meeting from my friend, Mr. Amal. I hope he is still joining this Zoom meeting. I want to encourage myself to speak in this forum about the personal branding theme that the that that we discuss tonight. I want to introduce myself, and my name is Rizal, and I'm one of the civil servant in one of the government institution in Indonesia, and I think that personal branding is important, especially for the civil servant. The civil servant in Indonesia is known as the laziest because people think that civil servant just playing the Zumas game all along day. But if when I'm joining this profession as a civil servant, I don't feel like that. It's different from the people think about the branding of the civil servant itself. Yeah, I think the personal branding should I what do you say? Should we the personal branding about the civil servant is I want to change the people think about the civil servant. Yeah, like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rizal. Can I ask to you,
Yes, of course.
what your opinion about they think personal branding is imagery or pencitraan?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Okay, what your opinion about the people to say to you about your personal branding is pencitraan or imagery?
I think the personal branding, we can say pencitraan also, because but the personal branding itself percitraan in the positive side, I think. Yeah, like that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rijal. And whoever want to answer, please raise your hand. Anyone else? Mrs. Michelle? Okay, Mrs. Ekalita.
I think the personal branding, yeah, mostly in Indonesia, yeah, they are mostly like imaginary. I'm sorry, because I saw that mostly people they only care about the personal branding, and they take a lot of energy for that, and sometimes they do some corruption, um or the money is didn't like wise, yeah, you're using your money not wise, and you cannot connect to others about the problems that no matter how the personal branding make you be exclusive. That's it. It's a questioning for all of us. The problem is one, yeah, and the problem is all for all of us. But when you are personal branding, you will see uh, their give you answers differently, and then they will betray the society also. And I don't know, the way they're working is very weird for some people, because we didn't recognize them sometimes, mostly if they are very disappointed for the society. Yeah, uh, we have to admit that in our country we have a very serious and complex matters. It's not like something that we are make up it, not nothing like that. Because if we refer to our historic country history, we have 300,050 being occupied by Netherlands, and then 2 years from the Japanese. And after we are independent until today, we don't see that the change is satisfied for us, all of us, right? And I didn't want to mention the name here, but it is very making me so negative for personal branding, because how can he use something for the imaginary and then sacrifice so much, a lot of things? What is the goals? um, if we say that the goals is for the country and society, they didn't think like that. Mostly there are disputings, and there occur the problems. Then the problem is like, if the A make the problems, and then the B fix the problem, and then the B makes another problem, something like that. So, and if we are want to like making some decision, we have to know what I have read about the second, apa tuh maksudnya? I forgot the define, yeah, but we have to really think about that. So your personal branding, it not useless when you cannot give something real to your country and society. That's what I want to say. And if you are have some failure with the country, society, and like majority and minority, because for some people they didn't admit things like this. But the strange is the matters is came out because of this. So I think if we want to be smart, be a real smart, that uh, you don't. It's not because you want to. People won't see you like imaginary things, but yeah, I think for everything, yeah, like in the maybe I have to refer some countries here, because I saw that their politician is more real, yeah, in that country, and we sometimes we didn't know who are they, right? if they have personal branding, no, just the minister, just certain people, but we didn't know the politician. But when they fight for their country, their society, it's very real. And when they are talking about the corruption, it's also real. But see the Indonesia, every government, they're always covering the corruption from the corruption previous. If you have to forgive some politician because of some reason, you have to be open. Don't like heritage is for another regime. So there is no change in Indonesia, and you always hurting the society mostly if they are like in I baru tahu apa tuh ya, just know ya about the proletariat, and I very concerned about this because in some countries sometimes maybe the problem is like from the 85%, that's your your real job, but yeah, like we saw every year and every if the government is changed, we hope that the numbers will be decreased, right? But the fact is they are increasing because every region always make the wisdom that abandon them. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I didn't give a damn about the personal branding. Yeah. People didn't want to know who you are, but people want to know that what is your real work for this country and society. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita. It's very insightful. Thank you so much. And next, Mrs. Michelle.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm going to answer about your question about people that immaturely think personal brand is a pencitraan, right? Am I right?
Yes, you are.
So there are several things that make pure personal branding considered a pencitraan or just an image because some of their experiences are not good and they feel cheated. I agree with Ms. Ekalita before that personal branding needs to be trustable. Personal branding is about you control how other people perceive you before they come into direct contact with you. Personal branding is also requires consistency, commitment, and integrity. How could you be impacted if people notice that you're faking things gitu? So that's why successful people on average have a strong and positive personal brand because they also try to minimize things that bring down their personal brand by faking it. It's better for us to be a little different and have differentiation than others than for us to fake things and try to be too perfect in everything. It's just like we can call it overbranding and no one will trust you with it. So that's all my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Al.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Michelle. And I want to add the personal brand is a culmination of the experience, skills, and values that differentiate you. Okay, next, Mr. Demus. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. I think I really want to address a very important point here that I think that a lot of people are misconcepting about the personal branding is. So what's the real difference between imagery or image branding than personal branding? So image branding is not necessarily just because you want to create an image of yourself, then it's supposed to be positive. I really agree with Mr. Shaiful Putra that imagery or image branding doesn't really mean that you need to get positive feedback upon it. But personal branding is very much different. Even though it's a subset of imagery or it's a subset of image branding, but the point of personal branding is not coming right away after you basically trying to implement that imagery strategies to other people by showing off from your social media platform and so on and so forth. But personal branding comes through from authenticity and consistency of what you're doing. If you're basically consistent to whatever your expertise is, that creates the personal branding of yours. Less brought up about the huge people in the world that already people knew as their personal branding positive that Miss Michelle brings up. For example, like when we were brought up about the point of who is basically the smartest person in the world, then a lot of people will consider that who is the research, the most famous research again? You name it lah. But the point of that personal branding basically coming from the authenticity and consistency. So how if the experience that Ms. Ekalita and other people who consider politicians are basically making imaginary perception, they're coming from deceiving. Deceiving is not personal branding. Because why? Because consistency and their authenticity are not basically aligned with their vision and mission. If we want to basically assess the people who basically do imaginary or personal branding is coming through whether or not they're consistent towards their saying. If they basically do something or say something, okay, I'm actually engaged with the corruption, but then they're basically involved in the corruption itself after a few years or a few months after they're going to be elected, that's not personal branding. That's imagery. So how to assess the personal branding and also the people who do imagery? For me, assessing individual or entities engage in the image branding or imagery that I perceive, that I consider difference. First, that you analyze their messaging or the points of what they're saying. For example, if I say that I'm actually want to be a president, just by saying this is basically creating my image branding. But none of those people who basically listen to me right now, considering that as the point that really of my goal. Because first, I couldn't prove that what I'm doing so far, basically improving the goal of what I just said, which is to be a president. So you need to understand, as the listener of those people who try to commit their first image branding, you need to analyze their messaging, review the content, messaging, statements shared by those individual or entity. Look for the consistent themes and messages they may carefully curate it for a specific image. Because those people who do imagery branding, so like those artists who create scandalous points of view, are basically those who make imagery, not personal branding. Because the content, the statement, those everything they brought up into the platform are basically not inconsistent. They are inconsistent, right? And three of four, the authenticity coming from that individual. If you're looking for the best singer in Indonesia, then the several singers probably come up in your mind, like Agnes Mo, Anggun, or those people who are basically naming themselves on the chart billboard or something, because they basically seeing their real skill into the world, that creating their public personal branding. That's not imaginary branding, that personal branding. So if your words are not aligned with your consistency, it doesn't relate to the personal branding definition. It's more imagery. And after those, the skill that you basically do, it creates what we call as reputation management, that people need to understand better on that point. Because I believe that is really missing out a point where we talk about, how politicians basically do corruption, because that's not personal branding. They create imaginary points of view because they just created what we consider as promising points of view, promises. That's the reason why whenever I heard politicians are debating to be a president, what I need to understand their consent and how so far their portfolio that they submitted to be, to an election. Like right now, when people, because those politicians are basically using the demanding point, the demanding status quo. If back then 2015, when Jokowi basically started to implement, to enroll to be a president, he used the environmental issue to be basically chosen to be a president because that's what demanded. So when we see those elementaries or those electors are trying to be a president, or those politicians who want to be whatever they want to be, but the point of the message they're creating are just only giving promises, but then none of the the portfolio that they brought up into the debate or into the message or the content they brought up are not consistent, then that's imagery. That's not personal branding. Look at them. For example, like right now, who is the electors? I believe it's Probowo, and there is, I don't know his name, but he has a lot of white hair, but I'm not sure. Please, the people who are coming from his, public I'm not sure, but whoever wants to be elector are basically using recent news of, Sandwich generation, because Sandwich generation or personal issues right now on Gen Z basically are something that is emerging into the surface. That's the reason why they're coming up with the question and proposal of those, because they try to create imagery or image branding, not personal branding. If you want to see them because of the demand of right now, this the status quo, then you need to see the consistency of what they're doing so far for the past 5 years, 10 years. Are they really actually helping a lot with the activities that really, that are connected to this recent status quo? Like if you really want to conquer the Sino generation, then let's see whether or not they have been actually have the proposal on making that so far in previously. Because when I watched the Najwa Shihab with interviewing all those electors, and the question of Sino generation problem coming out, they didn't really give us the exact problems or the exact epitome of proposal that we really want to bring up into the election, which means that they're not really, that's the imagery for me personally, because there's no consistency toward their portfolio and what they're saying. So from now on, I really wanted that everyone here to understand the difference, the difference between imagery or image branding and personal branding. Because when we're defining that personal branding comes from the intensity and consistency toward what you're doing, then I do believe that is a positive points. So back to the moderator. That's what my slide address for the issue.
Wow, it's very good answer. And Mr. Demus, can I ask? There are some people out there who ask personal branding to hide their true nature. Such as in the social media world, they are good, but they are actually arrogant and a liar. What do you think about this? Is it a success for the personal branding created? Or is it actually more a liar to followers on social media than personal branding?
Yeah, so that's imagery. That's not personal branding. Let me make it clear. Why? Because when you say that personal branding is basically, personal branding is coming from their personal life and private life are aligned or connected. So when you see people who are basically in social media are showing off their reputation so good, but in real life, in their private life are basically not so much, I think that's imagery, not personal branding. For those people who I consider who have good personal branding are those who have private life and also personal life align with the people who see them. So for example, when you see me as someone who is very curious of learning, you can see that from even my private life that I never show in social media, or people who surround me who you can actually ask to, you will notice that, oh, Mr. Demus is basically love reading. You can see them, you can see me, or you can see whoever who have the same vision of mine is basically like gathering in the park or joining several communities of learning. So for me personally, that when you have different image toward your personal life or in your social media or platform than your private life, then you're not making personal branding. It's not even successful personal branding. That's successful imagery. And I echo with the Miss Ekalita statement that that's imagery. When you understand that the people who coming up with those lying or deception, then that's imagery. So I really want to make a clear straight line upon that. Yeah, I think that's my answer, Mr. Shahrul. I really want Mr. February to answer this question as well. He's really good with personal branding.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Demus. Okay, maybe Mrs. February, because Mr. Demus recommendation you to be answer the question.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Demus. That's really cool. Okay, I cannot talk a lot related to these questions because I think it's I go with Mr. Demus saying about personal branding and also image branding. I think it's all about integrity. That the things that I try to point out. Integrity when what you are thinking and then you are doing is saying. So that's the thing. That's what we call integrity. It means that you are honest, and that's actually when we want to build our personal branding. Well, when it comes to the image branding, sometimes there's something wrong between the things that you are thinking, you are saying, to the action you take, to the action you finally show to others. I think that's a basic difference between image branding and also personal branding. I think that's all, Mr. Shahrul.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Febri. It's a great answer. Before we continue the discussion, maybe maybe Mr. Rizal can answer or Mrs. Sekalita. Okay, Mrs. Eka, can you tell me?
Okay, I just want to be short, yeah.
Okay.
After the Reformation, yeah, every president always said that we will overcome the problem in 100 days, right? It's like a slogan for them. And now we refer to Theodore Roosevelt when his country has a economical crisis in America. And then he just um, he just make three wisdom for his policy for the country, and one can go out from their problem. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Sekalita. Anyone here can answer? Okay. Mr. Rizal, or you want to answer or not? Okay, maybe last question. The same question to me, to Mr. Demus. There are some people out there who use personal branding to hate their two NATO, such as in the social media world. They are good, but they are actually arrogant and a liar. What do you think about this? Is it a success for the personal branding created, or is it actually more deceptive or a liar to followers on social media than personal branding?
You asked me again. I
No,
already answered that question.
No, anyone in here, but the same
Okay.
question to you.
Okay, I thought you questioned me again. I was like, what? You repeated the question. I believe the otak community, the host wants to answer this question so badly, right, Mr. Febri?
Hello, where's the moderator?
Okay. Maybe we close this meeting and a conclude is, yeah, personal branding is important, and branding is about skills. Maybe anyone here have opinion about this? Mr. Host, can you?
Oke, well, thank you, nggak apa Al ya. Kita belajar nggak apa-apa. Jadi jangan patah semangat. Oke, Al, could you screen out your screen? Bisa dibalikin apa ya? Screening. Oke, thank you.
Okay.
Ya, Oh, buat teman-teman ya. Jadi semuanya kita belajar. Al pun juga belajar di otak community ya. Al sekarang semester 7 ya. Kuliah, nggak apa-apa. Al masih ada waktu buat belajar. Dan Al juga baru di otak community. Teman-teman, jadi it's okay. This one kind of the process buat kita semua. Jadi buat teman-teman semua, mungkin yang berminat juga buat apa? eh nyoba mental ya, tes mental kayak Al. Teman-teman juga bisa jadi apa ya, jadi moderator karena ini udah moderator ke 170 ya, udah lewat dari 170. Jadi ya ini pertama juga nggak pakai screen ya, mungkin Al juga belajar juga, next selanjutnya harus prepare dan sebagainya, because prepare is one of the ways how to be perfect ya, when you get the performance and others di situ. Ya, jadi nggak apa-apa kita belajar bareng-bareng. Jadi buat teman-teman semua, ketika ada apa ya, kesalahan dan sebagainya dari moderator, it's okay. Di sini proses ya, nggak ada yang instan. Mie instan aja butuh proses, butuh diseduh dulu, disiram air panas dulu, dan akhirnya di situ baru bisa kita nikmatin di situ ya. Jadi I really appreciate to all here ya. He's still brave to give us contributions, yeah, to provide this a kind of this topic. Oke, thank you guys. Di sini saya bakal ngasih beberapa feedback ya dari beberapa diskusi kita pada hari ini. Pertama, ya ada bahasa Inggrisnya lebih gampang ya. Jadi ini materinya kalau dalam bahasa Inggris ada comparative ya. Jadi teman-teman bisa nonton di YouTube atau sebagainya. Jadi komparatif itu seperti contohnya yang nambah more atau IER di belakangnya ya. Jadi kalau dia satu suku kata jadi tambah R doang, tapi kalau dia lebih dari dua suku kata di situ ditambahin more di situ. Jadi kalau easy itu satu suku kata jadinya easier. Kalau lebih ganteng misalnya bisa bilang more handsome atau sebagainya. Tapi dari buku Betty Azar ada juga yang mengatakan handsomer juga bisa. Tapi di beberapa section ataupun ketentuan tertentu. Tapi lebih commonnya setiap dari dua suku kata di situ harus diikuti oleh eh more di situ. Jadi bukan ditambahkan IR di belakangnya. Terus yang kedua tadi ada yang salah dalam penggunaan ya. Contohnya I am agree ya. Agree ini nggak usah diikuti oleh be lagi karena dia langsung ketemu ya, langsung ketemu verb. Jadi I agree. Nah, jadi kalau mau bilangnya saya sangat setuju nggak boleh ya. Tadi siapa yang dengar saya dengar tadi ada yang bilangnya I am very agree di situ, itu salah ya. Nah, kalau mau bilang saya benar-benar setuju, nah jadi bisa ditambah do di depannya. Ya. Jadi ini bagian dari penekanan ya, I do agree di situ. Jadi do itu bisa ketemu verb teman-teman ya. Jadi saya sangat mencintaimu juga bisa I do love you. Jadi enggak I very love you, tapi I do love you. Saya sangat setuju. I do agree dan sebagainya. Nah, jadi buat teman-teman yang kalau do atau doesn't, does di situ ketemunya ketika dia kalimat negatif doang, enggak ya, ada ketentuan dia bisa ketemu langsung verb tanpa kalimat negatif. Jadi contohnya I do agree artinya adalah saya sangat setuju. I do love you, saya sangat mencintaimu dan sebagainya. Terus selanjutnya pencitraan ya. Pencitraan itu bahasa Inggrisnya imagery ya. Itu bagian, dan juga hati-hati ya teman-teman ya, ketika kita nge-translate sesuatu eh ada yang namanya saya lupa. Ada yang namanya vocab di situ yang nggak bisa, materinya saya lupa namanya dalam pembelajaran. Tapi di lain sisi hati-hati dalam penggunaan vocabularies karena kita juga nggak bisa membulatkan vocab itu di makna yang sama. Eh, s- contohnya tangan saya nggak sampai nih, nggak bisa saya bilangnya my hand is not until, nggak bisa ya. eh Salah. Yang harusnya adalah I cannot catch dan sebagainya di situ. Atau ketika badanku nggak enak nih, nggak boleh bilangnya my body is not delicious dan sebagainya. Itu juga salah satu kesalahan-kesalahan buat beberapa pemula di situ ya. Jadi harus dipahamin vocab itu penggunaannya buat apa, kelas katanya apa. Nah, jadi harus di dipelajari di poin tersebut. Terus selanjutnya mewakili bahasa Inggrisnya adalah represent ya, jangan lupa. Terus juga ya mungkin buat teman-teman yang buat speaking how to understand each other is okay. Tapi kalau teman-teman yang pengen bahasa Inggrisnya lebih apa ya advance ya, contohnya butuh bahasa Inggris buat studi ke luar negeri ya, yang dimana persyaratannya ada IELTS misalnya. Jadi IELTS itu bukan bisa bahasa Inggris doang, tapi benar-benar how to be apa ya, how to have English in apa ya professionally dan secara akademik juga intinya di situ. Jadi vocabnya jangan itu-itu aja ya. Maybe mungkin bisa diganti dengan perhaps ya, terus bisa diganti dengan presumably ya. Terus bisa diganti dengan visibly ya. Jadi jangan maybe terus ya teman-teman ya. Saya nggak pernah ngelihat ada kata selain maybe di sini yang digunain. Jadi semuanya pakai maybe, semua thing ya. What do you think? What do you think? Jadi ganti. Contohnya apalagi ya? Selain I think ya, I assume. What is your assuming about bla bla bla. Nah itu lebih keren daripada what do you think dan sebagainya. Atau apalagi what do you suppose regarding bla 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 dan sebagainya ya. Itu juga maknanya kayak thing di situ. Jadi vocabnya jangan itu aja. Terus about bisa diganti dengan regarding ya. Kalau udah regarding nih penggunaan vocabnya itu udah kelihatan bahasa Inggrisnya udah advance, bukan bahasa Inggris apalagi dalam arti kata bahasa Inggris basic lagi ya, atau bisa menggunakan concerning ya. Jadi I would like to talk regarding the situation that happens in Europe misalnya. Jadi enggak I want to talk about situation that happen. Itu masih bahasa Inggrisnya masih bahasa Inggris basic di situ. Jadi kalau teman-teman mau melompat yang bahasa Inggrisnya lebih advance, kita bisa ngelihat dari vocabulary-nya orang-orang. Jadi kalau ngomongnya cepet, fluensinya bagus, tapi vocabnya itu aja, is masih belum dikatakan advance dalam posisi tersebut. Ya, apalagi ya nih Iwon nih saya lupa nih. Wah, hapus ini. Terus mungkin English tips ya buat teman-teman semua ketika teman-teman menyampaikan sebuah poin di situ adalah coba intonasinya lebih apa ya, lebih menarik di situ. Jadi jangan flat. Nah, apalagi buat teman-teman yang speakingnya kayak membaca. Nah, kayak Al nih di awal ya, membaca. Coba dihindari ya, the style membaca seperti itu. Jadi coba gunakan mind mapping ya. Mind mapping ini suatu yang sering digunakan buat orang-orang yang dapat yang di challenge untuk speech ya, atau melakukan apa ya, menjelaskan sesuatu kayak presentasi dan sebagainya. Jadi coba gunakan mapping. Nah, mapping ini ya menurut pelajaran yang saya dapat dulu ketika saya di Toastmaster ya, dimentorin sama Tanto Wihaya, empat ini. Jadi bentuk dari kita menjelasin sebuah poin itu seperti ini. Segitiga kebalik. Kalau kita takut lupa. Jadi kalau hafalan ya, ketika ngafal nih, poin A, poin B, poin C. Wah, di poin B kita lulus ideas, kita nggak tahu lagi ngomong apa ya. Tiba-tiba blank di poin C. Di poin D kita bakal blank karena kita kesulitan untuk menyambung puzzle-puzzle tersebut. Tapi kalau kita melakukannya dengan mind mapping, di situ kita ketika ada poin yang hilang ya, misalnya poin A, B, C, di C hilang, kita masih bisa nyambung ke poin D di situ. Karena kita based on mapping. Tapi kalau based on hafalan, semuanya udah terstruktur langsung di situ. Jadi jangan biasakan ngafal. Dan cara mapping dalam presentasi itu ya, mulai dari suatu yang general ya, dari atas seperti ini dari atas nih general ya. Contohnya di sini general ya. Contohnya kita disuruh untuk menceritakan tentang Indonesia. Jadi jangan langsung kita ngomong sesuatu yang spesifiknya. Jadi kita mulai dari general dulu. Kita disuruh menceritakan Indonesia nih. Ya udah kita bicara pertama tentang demografi misalnya. Ya, demografi Indonesia, populasinya berapa, terus berapa budaya dan sebagainya. Nah, nggak tahu lagi kita nih blank, nggak tahu lagi ngomong apa di demografi. Kita pindah ke poin besar lainnya. Poin besar lainnya misalnya kita ngomong tentang apalagi ya selain demografi, mungkin sosial misalnya. Nah, sosial ada social culture dan sebagainya. Ngomong lagi tentang social culture bla 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 dan sebagainya. Nggak tahu lagi ngomong apa social culture. Kita melompat lagi ke poin lain. Kita ngomong tentang ekonomi misalnya. Ngomong lagi tentang ekonomi bla 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 3 menit, 2 menit, terus blank. Nggak tahu lagi. Terus karena kita udah blank, kita pindah lagi ke poin lain. Misalnya kita ngomong tentang apa lagi ya, ekonomi udah, eh culture udah, demografi udah. Misalnya kita ngomong tentang problem misalnya. One of the problem of Indonesia, corruption, bla bla dan sebagainya, nggak tahu lagi. Nah, ketika kita udah habis, benar-benar habis, baru kita nyampe di sini, di poin titik ini. Nah, di titik inilah namanya conclusion, teman-teman ya. Jadi ketika kita mempresentasikan sesuatu atau nge-convey sesuatu dalam berbentuk materi dan sebagainya, mulai dari sesuatu yang general dan mengerucut ke sesuatu yang dinamakan conclusion. Gitu. Nah, itu lebih terarah. Terus yang kedua, tipsnya mungkin buat pronunciation ya. Jadi hati-hati buat teman-teman semua karena pronunciation eh pronunciation di situ juga hal yang signifikan ya karena bisa membelokkan makna. Misalnya saya lapar misalnya. Terus saya bilangnya I am full. Sorry, saya kenyang mau saya bilang, tapi saya bilangnya I am full. Sorry, ya I am full di situ. Jadi maknanya bukan saya kenyang di situ. Maknanya adalah saya bodoh kan. I am full. Tapi kalau I am full artinya full. Kalau dalam penatik simbolnya pakai U senyum full di situ artinya baru saya kenyang. Nah, itulah signifikan atau esensialnya pronunciation. Gitu. Jadi kalau pronunciationnya yang masih agak salah-salah dan sebagainya, coba dipelajari atau diimprove dari sekarang. Caranya gimana? Caranya adalah perbanyak listening ya teman-teman ya. Mungkin bisa dari nonton ya, bisa dengerin podcast dan sebagainya. Karena kalau pronunciation-nya salah, emangnya juga salah. Nah, terus juga speaking way to attract it, bagaimana kita bisa didengarin oleh orang lain, ya kasih intonasi gitu. Jadi ngomongnya jangan flat. Ya, contohnya, ladies and gentlemen, we have to know that Indonesia is the archipelago countries. More than 1,000. Nah, jadi lebih enak kita ngomongnya ada intonasinya, ada up and down ya, up and down ya. Jadi ketika kita menyampaikan pendapat itu flat di situ, oh ya orang ngantuk, bosan di situ. Ketika bosan ya kita nggak bakal dengerin orang lain. Gitu. So, yeah, this is the ways, yeah, how the way of you to attract your audiences. Mungkin di sini kita online ya, jadi banyak auditori ya, auditori dalam arti suara. Tapi ketika teman-teman dapat kesempatan offline, ya kita bisa ketemu offline someday, ya banyak beberapa poin-poin besar di situ yang harus teman-teman cermati, how to attract your audiences, how to win your audiences di situ dari visualnya, dari the ways of attract people with your with the kinesthetic dan sebagainya. Nah, itu ada semua dalam public speaking dan sebagainya. Jadi ya itu ada beberapa feedback yang saya berikan buat hari ini ya. Saya juga belajar ya teman-teman ya. Jadi kita sama-sama ngingatin di komunitas ini. Ya, saya founder pertama yang menciptakan otak di sini, yang ngajak Suni, yang ngajak teman-teman lainnya kayak siapa lagi Kudori dan sebagainya. Memang niat saya di situ pengennya ya yang bakal menjadi kontributor dari dari setiap presentasi ini dan sebagainya adalah teman-teman yang bahasa Inggrisnya masih belum bagus. Kenapa? Masih belum bagus karena itu bakal menjadi lucutan buat dia ketika mentalnya udah dicap seperti itu, dia bakal lebih berani di situ. Nah, ini buat teman-teman, jadi jangan takut ya kalau ada yang pengen jadi moderator di minggu-minggu selanjutnya. mungkin bisa ngubungin saya, bisa ngubungin beberapa teman-teman founder lainnya ya. Mungkin ngelihatnya yang di grup yang admin itu udah bagian dari founder kita bersama di situ. Jadi kita belajar bareng-bareng di situ. Oke, sebelum kita nutup kegiatan kita pada hari ini, saya pengen foto bareng dulu sama teman-teman semua. Ya, jadi kalau bisa, saya pengen ngajak teman-teman untuk hidupin kameranya. Tapi kalau nggak bisa ya, juga nggak apa-apa. Oke, thank you. Oke, mulai dari hitungan pertama. Ya, slide 1, 3, 2, 1. Oke, ganti gaya, slide 2, 3, 2, 1. Oke, thank you so much everyone. Itu aja buat hari ini. See you next week. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend, guys.
Everybody.
Thank you so much, guys.
Semuanya.